This fall 2025, Frederick, with a GPA of 2.5, will start his master's in information and communication sciences at Ball State University. He was given a graduate assistantship which covers his tuition and also provide him with stipends. So it is not just about the GPA, it is about what you do with what you have. The GPA is very helpful, but there is more to a good application. Now, here is the truth. If you have a low GPA, you can still get good funding to come to the US, but you have to do the right things. You have to put in a lot of work. It's about crafting a statement of purpose that tells your story. It's about building a resume that aligns your academic and career experiences. It's about getting strong recommendation letters. It's about doing an evaluation depending on your situation. It's about taking the GRE depending on your program of interest and your GPA. It's about taking the SAT if you want a full undergraduate scholarship. It's about applying to the right schools based on your background and academic credentials. In my one-on-one visa interview coaching program, I have come across students who told me they applied to schools I recommended and they got full funding to start this fall 2025. One of those students even told me that she went for the visa interview a year ago and she was denied because she didn't have any funding. And so she went through the list I suggested and she applied to two of them or so, and now she has full funding to come to the US. The study abroad process is also about doing the right research, even if it means sleepless nights. It's about starting the process early and submitting your best work. Hi guys, welcome to today's live session. It's been a long time, man. It's not easy. This life abroad is not easy. We do so many things. So yeah, let me know where you're watching this from, and if you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel. It's so important to me. So today I'm here to answer your questions. I know it's been a while, and because of that, some of you have questions, and so whatever your question is, please let me know, okay, so that I can answer them for you. So let me go into the chat and see what if I have anything actually. Let me go back here. So those of you who are joining, I have recommended a lot of videos, right? I've recommended a lot of schools for different programs, and I always say that when I recommend a school for MBA, it doesn't mean it is for MBA students only. No, if you are interested in nursing, you want to check all the schools to see if they have a nursing program, and if they have a nursing program, then you can go ahead and then check if they have funding, and then if they have funding, then you go ahead and submit an application. So recommending a school for a program doesn't mean it is for only that program, because in one school they may have funding for 20 programs, right? So that is something you have to do. If you are waiting for somebody to recommend schools specifically for a particular program, like, yeah, that's not ideal. You want to do more than that. I can recommend 20 schools for, let's say, MBA, but then if you learn how the process works and you do your own thing, you can actually discover 50 schools. And out of the 50 schools, you can select maybe 10 that you can apply to, or five, depending on different things. So you want to learn how the process works. That's what I tell students. If you are relying on somebody to come and recommend schools, yeah, I try to recommend schools, but because of time, there are some things I cannot even do. So you want to take the initiative, right? You want to take charge of your own life. That's just the way it is. If you're an undergraduate student, I've recommended like 57 schools that give full scholarships. And so if you're an undergraduate student, all you have to do is whatever program you're interested in. The undergraduate programs, they don't really, it's not based on program. It's more about what the school has. So whatever program the school has, once the school gives full scholarship, you can just apply, and then if it's a school that gives full scholarship, you are going to get a full scholarship, depending on your SAT, WASI, GPA, essays that you submit, right? Depending on all of these things together. So that is just how it is, right? Some people, they'll reach out to me, can you recommend schools for nursing? Can you recommend? I'm like, you just don't know what you are doing. Like, you cannot just reach out and then be asking questions like this, right? Because I've recommended in total more than 100 schools for different things. If you check, I mean, there is no way you are going to say there is no school for your program of interest, right? The thing is that this process is very tedious. It's time consuming. It takes a lot of effort, and it's also a bit costly because you have to put in some money, right? And a lot of students, they want to avoid that. No, you cannot avoid that and then expect for funding. No, you can't do that, right? So you want to put in the work. It's very hard. Even me myself, I keep telling you guys, put in the work, put in the work. But there are days that me myself, I don't feel like doing something. There are days I'm lazy. There are days I'm like, what is, all of this? But you still have to do it, right? In spite of what you feel, you still have to do something. You cannot just sit down idle like that because nobody is coming to do anything for you. So in spite of what you may feel, you still have to put in the work. Life is very difficult, right? So that is the thing that we want to keep in mind. So actually give me a second, please. All right. Oh, I did something. Did you see what I did? uh, so yeah, the state about process is very difficult. But when you get full funding, you are coming to enjoy. If you don't have full funding, you will struggle. Like some of us, we wish we can go back and come again and do certain things, right? Even though I have full funding and everything, right? Because of different reasons. If you've been following me, you know some of the things that sometimes sometimes you want to think about the program very well. Sometimes you want to think about the school very well, right? You want to like all of these things, right? So yeah. So life is not easy. So please, if you have any question, leave it in the chat. I'm going to do my best and answer all of them for you. So I have let me see if I can show it. Okay. Best Chidibem from Nigeria, and then Churchill from Ghana, Ekua from Ghana, and then I have um let's say Tenor. Okay, Tenor Godwin from Nigeria. So the name was there and I was looking up at the username. Okay, so Churchill says, please, if I have a 3 year and 1 year top up BTech, can I combine both transcripts as one to apply for masters in human interaction design? Yes. If you have HND, 3 year HND, and then you have a degree, you have the top up 1 year. You want to do the evaluation so they will put everything together and then give you one GPA, which is a US degree equivalent, and you can use that to apply to all the like almost every school, right? That also puts your GPA together and kind of gives you one GPA, which in a way tells you where you are. Because knowing your final GPA, putting everything together is very important because it will help you avoid certain schools. Because sometimes you just want to know, you want to be real about your chances. Some schools you might just waste your time. So you want to know which schools are likely to give you funding, even though you might want to throw in one of the big schools, one or two of the big schools. But then most of the time you want to focus on where your GPA falls, right? The average, the schools which accept or which give funding to people with your GPA, right? You want to pay attention to those things. It is very important so that you don't waste your time. A lot of people in the state abroad space, I don't know, they waste their time. They are chasing a lot of wrong things like wrong schools, right? So you want to check that. And also the human interaction design, I don't know your background. You want to make sure you have enough background in that because that helps a lot, right? If you have some experience, if you've been using some technology that I use in that field, that can give you an upper hand. So you want to do all of those things. Augusta says, how long does it take for a department to generate an offer letter for you averagely? These things, they are not really based on average or anything because every school is different. And in the same department, sociology program may give you funding in April. Economics may give you funding in May. Geography may give you funding in July. Like every school is different, honestly, and every uh program is also different. So these things, what you have to do, right, is to work on your application materials, take your time, and then submit a good application. your resume, everything, double check, make sure everything makes sense. And then once you submit an application, yeah, submit several, and don't think about when they are going to make a decision, because whatever happens, you gave your best. And so even if you don't get admission or funding, whatever it is in one school, you can still hope to get them in another school. But your job is to give your best so that there is nothing to regret, right? Regardless of what happens. And whatever happens, you still learn from that. And I always say that if your dream is to study in the US, no matter what, you will still come. Like, eventually it will come. Even if it takes a year or two, you will still come. So your job is, I don't really like it when students are concerned about when am I getting offer letter, no, 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 that's not the focus. The focus is, can I submit a good application, right? That is what you do. And then wait for the rest. If you are religious, you can pray. If you're not religious, then you can, hope that everything works out well for you. So Kay is here from Nigeria. Evans from Ghana. Augusta says, is it late to start the visa process in November for spring 2026? No, it's not late. You can even apply for the visa in January, early January, and still come. For spring, early January can still, yeah, because the spring semester starts in the middle of January, and so once you are applying for the visa before that, it's okay. And even in some instances, even after that, you are still fine, because the school can allow you to come at the end of January. So yeah, the most important thing is for us to get an offer. Once we get an offer, everything else will take care of itself, right? So the focus is to try and get an offer, a good offer. So where am I? Ebenezer says, please, what is the relevance of transcript evaluation in this process? So transcript evaluation, there are several benefits. One is, if your GPA is low, if let's say you have a receipt in your transcripts, transcript evaluation can actually help you, right? Also, there are some schools that require it. So what that means is that if you have not done it, you cannot apply to those schools. Some schools, they will waive the application fee for you if you have done evaluation, like all these things. So those are buddy. And also, if your GPA is low, you want to do evaluation, because that can help you. If your GPA is high, maybe 3.5, 3.6, you probably don't want to do evaluation, because there are a lot of schools that don't require it and you can apply. And then, so it depends on where you are. Okay. It also depends on, for some, those whose GPAs are computed in the form of the CWA, some schools may not really be able to interpret it. So it's best to do the evaluation, right? If your GPA is CWA, some schools, they're okay with it, but yeah, if I have CWA, I will want to do the evaluation so that I know exactly where I stand, right? So it's expensive, but it's helpful. A lot of schools, I'm seeing North Dakota State here. A lot of schools in the Dakota, in the North and South Dakota, I think they require the evaluation, right? So yeah, some schools they require it. That's where evaluation can be helpful. Augusta says, is it possible an I-20 will show funding for only one semester? Well, every school is different. In the US, there are so many thousands of universities, right? So it's difficult for me to say yes or no, because most of the time, what they capture on the I-20 is 9 months. So I don't know if the school is showing, funding for just a semester. What that means is the school is giving you funding for one semester, and then the second semester they would have to look at your performance or maybe funding availability. For me, if possible, I will avoid a school like that. And sometimes before you apply, you want to reach out to people in the school. You want to be on LinkedIn and connect with those people. They can give you a lot of information, honestly, so that you don't make a mistake and then you arrive and then you realize that, oh, I wish I reached out to somebody. I wish somebody told me, right? So you want to get that information. Um, so Tope from Nigeria. Ivan says, I've had 2 Zoom meetings with prospective supervisors, and all of them have given me the go ahead to apply. Please, is that a good step to getting funding with good application? Thank you. The thing is that you reached out to them because you were hoping that would be a good sign to get funded. Now you've reached out to them, they've given you positive feedback, and you are wondering if that is a good sign, right? for me, my position is that if I cold emails can play a role sometimes, but and also depend on the program. Some programs you probably need to get a supervisor once in a while. A program may tell you, or a program coordinator may tell you to get a supervisor. But if that is not, a lot of programs, it is not a requirement. So for me, my focus is to submit a good application. And if I submit a good application, I don't really need to reach out to anybody. I didn't reach out to anybody before I applied to schools. Right. My second master's, that one, I submitted application after the deadline, but I was in the school, Ohio University, my second master's. So that one, I had to go to the office, to speak with a coordinator. That is a different thing. But then when my first master's and then my PhD, I didn't send an email before applying. I just applied. Right. So they can play a role, but I don't know. Maybe we human beings, we like familiarity, and we like to reward people sometimes. So cold email right now, it's like a lot of people they send it, so maybe that can help you. But personally, I don't know. And also, it's not a bad thing if you send it, right? It doesn't take anything from you, but you want to send a good one, because you don't want to send a cold email that is going to affect you, right? You want to send something that makes sense, and you want to master how to send a good one, which I have a video on. You can check that out, and then yeah. But for some programs, yeah, you probably need to do that, right? Um, Ebenezer says, please advise me on North Dakota State University. How well do you know the school? North Dakota, if you check my recommendations for fall 2026, I recommended it because of the fact that there were three students I did visa interview coaching with who came right this fall. So for me, it is easy to recommend schools like that, right? Three people. One of them is Michael. He came to do he's doing agric economics. For him, it was one-on-one coaching that I did with him, and he was approved and he came. He got 400. So when you ask me questions like, I'm not too sure, because every school is good depending on funding and stuff like that. And this is not something I can tell you. There are thousands of universities. I cannot really, my brain is not like a database where I can store all of these things, right? But if you follow me, you come across schools that I talk about. There are schools that I've mentioned very clear that these schools I will not apply to them, because I have never seen anybody with good funding. I see a lot of offers, and so there are some schools I'll say stay away from these schools, and some schools I'll say, oh, these schools are good because of funding. So if you follow me, you see all of these things, right? I have recommended so many schools. You can check these things, and you want to do your own checks. You cannot just rely on everything I say, because I'm human and I can make mistakes. Like, I mean, so you want to take charge of your own life. And as someone coming to do graduate studies, you are expected to know how to do research, right? So when somebody presents you with information, you want to be able to do your own checks before you share it, right? This is very important. So Pokoli, good evening. uh Hororita says, good day. Please, do you do SOP review? No, I don't. I don't have time at all. Like, hey, sometimes it's difficult for me to explain or to give you details about these things. All right, the way I'm busy. So the best thing is find people in your field of interest. They can do a better job than even me, right? If you find those people, they can. And also you can reach out to your own colleagues back, in your school, your professors, they can actually go through for you. The some of these things, there are a lot of things people don't. I speak with people, and when they tell me their stories and even my own stories, like you do things for people, they come and then they start misbehaving. It's like as if you didn't do anything for them. Before they come, they will be like, oh, I'll be grateful, I will never forget. I see that a lot. I get a lot of those messages. I'll never forget. They will come and they will forget. It's as if you didn't do anything for them. It's crazy. Like, you just don't understand. So all of these things, they make it hard for good people to do good. I did a lot of good things. At the end of the day, you know, it's left me with nothing. It's left me with in a bad situation, which I am still solving. Right? I'm still, so
Yeah, good people at some point they get tired of doing these things, because in the past I used to do these things for free. There was nothing I ever charged for in the past, but then last year I had to start charging for certain things. It is what it is. So where are we?
Tope says, I am also on North Dakota State University, about to pay dollars for my application and order my wares to deliver to them. Shai, do you know about the school well?
I think I the same thing. Hashim, I'm good. How about you? How are you doing? Tobe says, uh, and thank you again for the 10 release 10 schools. Okay. I'll be trying one or two. Okay. There's a spot where it is usually asked if you have, when one message comes, the other one moves up. So I kind of missed it and I have to go back. I have to go up. There's a spot where it is usually asked if you have additional document to help your application. What are the likely documents to upload, to this space? Well, I don't think I've ever added any, additional stuff. But if you have, let's say, publications, for instance, that is something you can include there. If you have, some certificates, some, maybe you can put those things there. But I always stuck with the application materials. So because your resume can even talk about everything that you've done. And if you have certifications, your resume, your CV, they can talk about these things. So yeah, if you have something you want to put there, yeah, sure. But the additional documents, so they don't really play a major role, any role, maybe any significant role, right, when it comes to decisions. Kwesi, my background is bachelor's degree in mathematics with economics. Which program should you consider? It depends on you. It depends. If you say you have how many, which one do you prefer? And the thing is, you don't necessarily even have to limit yourself to math and economics. There's different programs. Frederick did political science, and now he's doing information and communication sciences because of what he was doing after graduation. Right, political science wasn't something he wanted to do, even though he has a bachelor's degree in political science, and that is how come he ended up with 2.5. And so everybody's story is different. I cannot give you advice like this. If I give you advice like this, you look back and you be like, oh, I didn't give you a good advice, right? So what I'm even saying is also an advice, right? So what are you really passionate about, and what are you currently doing? you know there are so many programs you can do depending on what you are currently doing, what you are passionate about. You want to think about this very well. It is not something I can just tell you in a second, in a minute or something. No, it's more than that. You want to reflect on your own life and see what you are passionate about. That is extremely important, because if you're not passionate about something along the way, you will not have the energy to continue doing it, right? So you want to think about maths, econs, and see, and also your GPA. Look at your transcripts. Which ones did you do so well? Like all of these things, you can put them together. And you don't necessarily have to do math or accounts. You can do something else too, closely related to those things. Okay. Um. So AI consult says, can you share if you have had people having full funding to Montclair State University because their information aren't good? I saw that they give 7K a year GA stipend. 7K a year GA stipend, Montclair. I don't know the cost of attendance. I don't know the living conditions there, right? The cost of living, I don't know. So 7K stipend a year, yeah, that might not be good, because even if they cover your tuition, it might not still be good. You can go online. You have to learn how to do, some of this research, how to search for some of these things, and you want to connect with people as well. Right. Montclair, I have not recommended it, so it's very difficult for me to. There are so many schools that I've recommended, more than 100, and it's not part. So you still have a lot of schools you can look at. Somebody reached out to me on Instagram, and he said he applied to a school, and what what did he even say? Something the GA was 50%, 25% or something. And I'm like, "See, if that is small for you, it's not a good offer. Why will you even consider it? There are so many options. So why limit yourself to something which you know in your heart that it's not good enough, and then you will be thinking about it whether you should go ahead. And I'm like, what are you doing, right? Because if they give it to you, they give you the offer, you go, your visa will be denied. So I will leave. Yeah. So Ivan says, thank you, but for my program, it is a requirement to get an advisor before applying. That's kinesiology and or exercise physiology program. Well, if you know that is the case, then why not? You should get a supervisor. I don't think your program is very popular. Like maybe I'm not too sure if it's popular among international students. That is a program that Sharif is studying at University of Kentucky, right? In that video, my top 10, I mentioned that. So Sharif didn't know anything about the process, honestly. So he reached out to me on Telegram. I don't know, maybe December or so. And after his visa was approved, he was like, he was thanking me so much. He was like, I don't know I don't know the percentage, whether 70% or so. He said I did 70% of the work for him. Meanwhile, I didn't even look at his documents, anything. All had was my videos on YouTube. That's all. But he was giving me more credit than what he himself did, right? Because everything you need is on my channel. If you really want to do it. So for you, there are so many programs that can give you funding for this program. I probably have a lot of programs somewhere, a lot of schools for your program somewhere, I think, but I don't know if I'll get a time to make a video or something. But yeah, so your program, there are a lot of schools that can give you funding, and um you wanna do your own checks very, very well before you submit application, right? And getting a supervisor, I'm not too sure if it will be that hard because of the fact that there are not too many international students who apply to your program. I think that's my opinion, right? Hi, Coco. Good to see you. Ineba says, please, why is funding for computer science limited for graduate studies, and which closely related program can you recommend that at least has more funding than computer science? If you ask me why, I mean, I don't know. Closely related programs like what Frederick is doing at Ball State, information and communication sciences, right? Something that's closely related. And you have to check when you ask questions like this. I don't really feel like this thing is so important to you in a way, because, and you know, this is me being brutal with you, because whatever program you're interested in, the study abroad process, it is very simple. Let's say I'm interested in sociology. All I need are 100 schools. Then every school will tell you the programs that they offer. So with every school, go through the list of programs, have an Excel file. Okay, University of A, these are the programs they have, and select the programs that you think you might be interested in, and then list them down in your Excel file. You can go back to them and check every school and the program they have, and whether you're interested in those programs or not. So whatever program, if you have a computer science background, and then you think computer science, there are not many funding. I mean, I recommended 16 schools also for computer science, right? And if you think that is not enough, and you want to find schools that have programs related to computer science, that is something you have to do. There are so many programs related to computer science, even statistics, in a way. Maybe if you are interested in data aspect of computer science, right, you have to do the work. I cannot, from economics background, and there are some schools I know, but they are in a file and all of that. I cannot just kind of store all of these things in my head as if no, it doesn't work like that. So I want students to learn how these things work. So for example, let me show you something. I don't know anything about let me open this thing here. And then let's say I don't know anything about the study abroad process, and I'm interested in sociology. Somebody has recommended a school to me. All I have to do is, okay, let me look for the school. So maybe the person recommended which school? Let's say Ohio University. I'm interested in sociology, masters. And then somebody gave me a school. I don't know whether the school has sociology or not. What do? I go to Ohio University. Or what do I do again? I hope you can see my screen. Yes. Then I go to academics. You can even go to admission. They will all lead you to the same place. But let's say academics. I go to graduate. Once I'm at graduate, graduate means masters and PhD. Once I'm here, Ohio University, the website is nice. You have, a filter. You can use a filter. We are always interested in the on campus, and on campus here is Athens. Then I can also, modality on campus, right? Then degree, we want a degree, right? So I click degree. I'm just filtering everything out. So the masters or PhD, let me choose masters. What do you do next? You go through everything they have. You can go like check all the programs and look at the ones you might be interested in. Check their requirements and see if you meet the requirements. Check if they require West, if they require GRE. You check all of these things and have an Excel file with all this information. Then you can finally decide on your top schools. So this one, I don't get a lot of information. So then let me click this PDF. This PDF might give me information about the program. So this PDF, so then I can go here, and then this is telling me the requirements, right? They require 3.0, all of these things, right? They're telling me what the program is about and stuff like that. This is not the information, or well, the PDF. You guys didn't even, I don't think you guys saw the PDF. So it's open somewhere. So let me click on. Now I'm going to click on this. If this doesn't work, then I have to send an email to this person. Very simple. About every specific thing that I didn't find on the website, I'm going to send an email to this one. But let me click on the catalog here and see. Well, it keeps opening in a different page. Let me go back and then show you what I saw. Well, actually, everything I was doing was not even sure you guys were not, but let me show you something here. So then, computer science, right? This is the information about the program, right? Then let me scroll down and look for funding. So then I don't see funding, right? I see information about the program. So I don't know if they have funding or not. So what do? I have to, I can decide to send an email to this person, right? This email address, maybe the general office or something, for whatever information I'm looking for. That's all. And then you can get the information. Most of the time, if they don't have the information, if they don't put the information on their website, when you send an email, they will reply. In the case of computer science, I'm seeing funding here. Let me click on this link and see if the funding is there. And then they are saying that they have, now this one is not under the computer science department, or it's not under engineering. So uh, it doesn't mean the department has funding, because this is general. This is what I call general. So you can't say there is funding, right, in the department. So then what do you do? That email that I showed you, send an email to the person. That's all. This it, Learn how the process works so that you don't, make mistakes. How do I even, okay, let me stop sharing this. Okay, let me go up again. The process is really simple, but students make it look like this thing is so hard. Yes, if you don't know something, beginning is always hard. That's why I'm here. I'm always making videos showing you some of these things, but students are busy to watch videos and do the right thing. And for a lot of you, you want to start from the foundation. If you want to start in the middle, you will struggle because you have a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered questions. So I have foundational videos, maybe 3 of them. Start from there. Start from the foundational videos. Once you start from the foundational videos, you build all the knowledge you need, then we can expand that. Yeah, if you don't do that, you'll be struggling, you'll be making mistakes, you know. So I don't know, I posted in my WhatsApp channel that my interview with Frederick will be coming out very soon. So you guys should watch that video out. So Frederick, just some context, he had a GPA of 3 points, 2.5, and then he did evaluation, and he ended up with a graduate assistantship. A lot of people with 2.5, that is almost impossible, right? But yeah, I interviewed him and he gave details about everything that he did and everything. So that's a video you might want to watch and, learn from him. So right now he's like a role model. He's like a role model, right? You look up to him in a way, right? So where am I? So uh, so I guess Tena says I am a graduate of accountancy. I've had 3 years administrative experience, AC officer, and I'm interested in administrative assistantship while pursuing masters in fintech, or it must be T or RA. You have to go and check your program. And uh when you say fintech, I don't know what I don't know if it's financial technology or something. I'm not even sure what the program. I don't know. I've heard about fintech. I'm not even sure what the full thing means, right? So I don't know. And like what I just did, the same thing. Look for all the programs in the school and look at what they have. Look at the assistantship opportunities and how you can get them. And you might want to connect with people in the school because they can give you some information. There are some things somebody struggled and struggled and struggled before they discovered it, and now they know it. So if you reach out, you don't have to go through all those struggles because now that information can be made available to you, and then you can go ahead and then explore, right? So Herbert says, please, I got my transcripts evaluated by Wes. So you had 3.13. Please, do I stand a chance of getting funding? When Frederick did his evaluation, I think he got 3.2. So yeah, of course, even 3.0 can get you, a lot of schools minimum 3.0 for funding, right? So then, but you still have to have other things. So yeah, that should be good enough. Once it's above 3.0, you should be good enough. That should be good enough. Um, Equia says, I'm trying to skip the GRE and the one school I found offering management information system with funding requests for that. Do you know of any with GRE not required? That is something you have to explore. If you are trying to avoid the GRE, I cannot say too much about MIS, right? But MIS, I think University of Arkansas at Little Rock, they have MIS and they fund it. I don't think John didn't take any GRE, so MIS you can check that. But the thing is that the study about process, if you're avoiding, I want to avoid this, I want to avoid this, I want to avoid this, you struggle, you end up wasting 3 years, 4 years. I'm telling you, don't be avoiding things. For me, I want to go through, like, I want to do what everybody's avoiding. That's the only way you get a better chance. If you want to avoid, somebody's also avoiding. So all of you are going to meet somewhere trying to compete for, for limited spots. Then you end up wasting because when you get there, the person depend on the GPA. The person may have a better chance over you. So all this avoidance, it's not a good thing, right? You want to do what it takes. If you don't want to take the GRE, it means that you have to explore 200 schools. If you wanna avoid the GRE, then explore 200 schools. That will give you a better chance because you come across a lot of schools that people are not aware of. So if you want to avoid the GRE, that's something you can do. Okay. Um Daniel says, in recent applications, I have gotten stuck that the okay, where I've been asked that where you've been told GRE is optional, and um you are giving it a thought whether to apply for it without a GRE or not. Well, it depends on the school, the competitiveness of the school, whether a lot of people apply to the school, what the GPA they require, what your GPA, SOP, a lot of things. So this is a decision you have to decide. And whatever happens, it is your decision. Whatever outcome we get in life are based on our decisions. If you decide to go the easy route and you don't get anything, it's on you, right? If you go the hard way and then you don't get something, at least you gave your best, right? So everything is on you. The information that I can give you, I give you, and then how you take that information, or what you use the information for, that depends on you. If you want to do the work, yeah. Some people, they work extra hard when they were in school, so they had a high GPA, so that means that they don't have to work hard now and they can still get funding, good funding. But if you didn't work so hard, maybe different reasons, maybe a relationship, right, had somebody broke your heart, or maybe financial issues, so you were struggling, you were working to pay your school fees, these are not your faults in a way. So then, because of that, but the thing about life is, sometimes a lot of things, if you are born into a poor family, it's not your fault that you are born into a poor family, right? All of us were born into poor families. It's not our fault, where anybody could have been born into any family, right? But then the question is, okay, now what can I do? Do I become a failure because of my background, or do I need to do something? Do I need to make the best out of my life, right? That is a question you have to ask yourself. Do I want to be great, right? Do I want to get to a point where I can tell my story to inspire other people? So then you have to do whatever it takes, right? Right now, I look at Frederick and I'm like, wow, this guy, he did something amazing, right? So now a lot of people will look up to you and be like, oh wow, this guy, yeah, he did it. Now I can, because he did it, I can also do it, and then they can follow his path. So That's just what life is about. So well, my Boniface says, please, if a school asks for GPA in the application portal, do you put the evaluated one or the original one on your transcript? So you can do PDF merging, you can put the two together and then just upload both, depending on if you want. If the school doesn't require if the school doesn't require evaluation, then your unevaluated transcript gives you a better GPA, then you can go with that, right? But if you want, you can just put the two together, and then you can put the evaluated one at the top and then the other one at the bottom, maybe. Yeah, you can do that. Those are not, it's not really a big deal. You can write a good SOP, and in the SOP you can use that as an opportunity to kind of sell yourself, in spite of, you know um you can make it very clear some of the challenges you had to deal with, which resulted in your low GP or something. Depending on how you write it, you can write a good story out of that. So Ivan says, thank you so much. Please, will you recommend the following universities? When you ask questions like this, I don't know what answer you want. I have recommended my own schools based on different things. You can check those out. I've recommended schools for different programs. You can check them out. If you're asking me if I recommend these schools for which program, first of all, for which program, right? And every school, I've told you how what we are looking for in schools. We are looking for funding and stuff like that. So if you ask questions like this, like I just don't know why students ask questions, because it frustrates me, because it's like something I've said so many times, and then I keep getting questions about them. I'm like, but you guys, that's why I say go and watch the foundational videos. Learn. Students will not do it, right? Go and learn the foundational videos, and then we can build on from that. John says, I've had admissions and waiting for funding at the moment. They said assistantship will be open for application next year. What will you recommend I do now? Yeah, you can look at other schools too, right? You can try and look at other schools. You can you can for that particular school, probably there is nothing you can do. Maybe after you got admission, you could have written an email, you know, I don't know, but to maybe thank the coordinator or something. I don't know. Some people do that. I don't know. And then, or maybe ask about what you need to do to get funding, if, or maybe if there are certain skills you need to build before school starts or something. These things. There are no formal way. There are no like structured way of doing these things. These ones, it's a feeling. I think it's more about a feeling. If you feel like, oh, depend on maybe interactions with this person, I should send an email like this, then. But if you don't send an email, you can wait until they make a decision. You can also try other schools, right? Because in the state abroad thing, you don't focus on one school, right? You have to make sure you have several schools you're looking at, because you can have all the credentials, but somebody may have the same or even better credentials, even if yours is so good. But so you want to try more schools, that's the best option, right? So Ivan says, shall your top 10 secret schools helped? Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. Evans, I think you are the higher education guy. I think, right? The higher education. If you ask me about higher education, so that video, I've made that video. That's the last video that, uh, like, that is the only video that is not posted on the Shy Guys yet. So the higher education video, it's already made. I should be able to post it on Thursday. So yeah, there are just 20 schools. Higher education, there are so many schools I could have, but because there are so many schools that I've recommended, most of these schools, you can see that the higher education, they are funded. Western Illinois, I didn't add it to the schools, but I think their higher education program, they are funded, so you can even check that. There are a lot of schools like that, right? So you can watch out for that video um, on Thursday. Right now, there are so many schools that right now it's like there are no like there's no time for a lot of things. So because last year I took a break from school stuff, a lot of school stuff. Right now I have a deadline, so that means I don't have time at all. Like, yeah. But then thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate you guys. I believe I was able to answer your questions. And the ones that I expressed frustrations, it's like many months of saying the same thing, right? It's like when I keep saying the same thing, it frustrates me. I'm like, you guys, because I don't want students wasting their time and I don't want them wasting their money. I want people to be very real about what they are doing, and I want people to be very clear. Don't waste time. Know what it takes and do it, right? Don't make mistakes. People are making a lot of mistakes, right? If you do your best and things don't work out, fine. This is life. Everybody will go through something, right? Everybody will make mistakes and they will learn from that. So there's nothing wrong with that. But then if you are making mistakes that you shouldn't be making, then that really doesn't make me happy. So yeah. So I'm not coming here to come and be, oh, it will be fine, it will be fine. No, it will not be fine. You have to put in the work to make it fine. So all right. So take care of yourselves and take care. Bye bye.